In this video, we're going to talk about function transformations. And it sounds like it's really difficult, but it's really not too bad. Let's take a simple graph. I'm going to say y equals x. Remember, the formula is y equals mx plus b. Well, this is a very simple one. It would be the same as saying x plus 0. They don't have to write the 0. So my point that I'm going to hit the y-axis is 0, 0. And my slope is a 1. Now remember from past videos that slope is like this. This is rise over run. How much do I go up? Positive 1. How much do I go to the right? Positive 1. If it would have been a negative 1, then I would go down 1 and right 1. But it's a positive. And so here's what happens. I'm going to put in my lines real quick, just quickly graphing it out. So if I had one, now again, it's y equals x. I added other things to remind us, but basically I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Already see the line. Down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. So there's my line. Okay, so I have the line. Transformations is, how do you make that thing shift? It goes up. Does it slide? What happens? So let's say that we were, this time, leaving this same graph, second graph, I want to have y equals x plus 2. Well, that means it's going to hit at 0, 2. So if it's going to hit at 0, 2, I'm going to start right there. The slope is still the same. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. And so basically I have a parallel line. It shifted. That's what a transformation is. So anytime you have this added to it, what happened? All that happened is the line shifted up 2 spaces. So what do you think would happen if it would have been x minus 2? Well, then it would be shifted down 2 spaces, and it would have been through there or something like that. And they would all be parallel and be a straighter line than what I have, but that's what's happening. Okay? So I can make it shift up, I can make it shift down. So that's not too hard. What happens if I had something like y equals 2x plus 2? So taking that one out. Well, my slope changed. It's now 2 over 1. And so what would I have now? I would be up 2, right 1. So it would be at 0, 2, that same spot at 0, 2, which is right there, would go up 2 over 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. All of a sudden it starts getting steeper. Why does that happen? The slope changed. So if I change the slope, it gets steeper. If I change the y-intercept, it moves along the line. So what actually happens is when I had this, it moved, so it was the same angle, it just moved up or it moved down. How do I make it steeper or less? What if I had y equals 1/2 x plus 2? Then I would go up 1 and right 2. And what's going to happen is that line, instead of being like that, from this line to there, wow, that got steeper with 2x. With 1/2, what's going to happen is it's going to start going flatter. And so we can transform these different functions by changing what's there. So, but all things are not just y equals x. Let's say if we had something like this, y equals x squared. Well, that graph looks like this. So a couple of shortcuts that I can give you for the transformations. Okay, so if y equals x squared looks like that, what do you think y equals x squared plus 3? Well, it's going to do exactly what just happened, except it's going to shift up 3 spaces. So it's going to hit there and move up, and there and move up. Not the best graph in the world, but it just shifted up, just like our other line did. So x squared minus 3 would have shifted down 3 spots. So it would go through this point. It would work its way up. Okay? So what do you think happens if y was x squared, but it now became y equals minus x squared? Well, what happens to that? So let's go to that one. I'll just take those out. So I just made it shift up or down here, what happens if it becomes, the whole thing becomes negative? It shifts, flips upside down. So that negative makes it flip. So it actually flips. So what do you think it would be if I had y equals minus x squared plus 3? Well, that looks sort of like that. The minus makes it flip. All that's going to happen is it's going to be flipped, and it's going to go up 3 spots, so the graph's going to look like that. And so they transform right here pretty easy. Now, going back to my original. So again, they flip. Let me go back to my original picture. Take these back out. There's my original x squared. What happens if I have something like this? Y equals x plus 3 squared. Well, it's going to do something a little unusual. What's going to happen is, notice there's no plus something out there, so we're still going to be hitting right here at the origin. But what's going to happen is the opposite of what you think. If this is a positive, it's going to move the opposite. It's going to move left. It's going to all move 1, 2, 3 to the left. My picture looks like that. It's the opposite of what you think. So if you had x minus 3 squared, it's going to move 3 to the right. So how can I make that make sense in my brain? Well, how many spots do I have to go to get it back to where it was just x squared? Well, if I move left, then I had to move right 3 spots to go back. So that might be a way of realizing why it's positive. It takes positive 3 to go back. In this case, when it's over here, I would have to go left 3 spaces to get back. All right, so I bet you're getting it. Okay, so if it's inside the parentheses, it's going to shift left or right. It's the opposite of what you think. So, tricky question. What if you had x plus 3 squared plus 3? Let's go back to our original. So the plus 3 means I'm going to move left 3, but this means I move up. So I'm going to go over 3 and up 3. So it's going to go right 3 there. So I went over 3 and up 3. That was left and that was up. And so I'm just sort of putting the skills together to make it work. The only other thing to really keep in mind is what happens if, okay, if we were starting at x squared, there we are, starting at x squared, what happens if we had something like y equals 2x squared? Now again, you got to be careful. It's going to be the opposite of what you think. When you have 2x squared, it's going to get thinner. And so it would really look like this. It's going to get skinnier than the original. So following that pattern, what if I had 1/2 x squared? It's going to get wider. So if I had, so here's my y equals x squared. There's my y equals 2x. My y equals 1/2 x squared is going to get wider than the original. Transformations, moving things up and down and left and right from where they are originally. Well, we'll try some together here in the next video.